invites you to do other kinds of things, but they normally don't go together. That's the truth. So poverty is where I lived in, but I hated poverty. I resented the entire experience of poverty. And then, and that's when you'll see certain segments doing counterintuitive things, like dumb things. Because this probably poverty is in the room. Because poverty invites you to do almost compromising things, complicating things. So one person says, oh, I want success. Screw a book. That doesn't make sense. I want success. I'm not waking up at 8 o'clock. That doesn't make sense. You see the contradiction? Yeah. But many people, if you stay entrenched in poverty for a long time, you can't see it. So you think it's just your norm. Thus, you become almost a permanent victim. Anyway, so I resent poverty. And so that became my real focus and drive. And I met the financial advisor, Smith Barney, which was formerly Citigroup. They were looking for an African-American advisor. And then he, my broker who met me thought I was unique enough. I call that God. He thought I was unique enough to say, I'll hire you. Well, I was working at Chrysler. I was making $145,000 a year. I ran the final department. So the gift was happening. So the scholarship, well, since 12 years old, the maturity to save, scholarships, 28 scholarships plus a full ride. Then you guys remember the old Cass Tech High School?
Yeah.
All right. I was the crane director. I do this, and I do this, and I sit in a chair. This big old crane will go up on the roof of Cass Tech and tear it off. And I was selected to be, so that's what I did while going to college. Scholarships, already having money. Then I became the crane director for like eight months. I was making $20 an hour at 18 years old doing this and sitting in a green chair and reading a book. It's just the way it works. That's favor. So after that, Chrysler called and said, do you want I think it's 116-day job or temporary worker, 90-day, 89-day thing. So I said, yeah, I'll take it. So the crane job ended because they tore the roof off Cass. Then I went over to Chrysler, became an auto worker while still going to school, while still receiving scholarships. Most of the scholarships were 4-year scholarships. So as long as you perform, you get the money.
Right, nice.
Very. And so staying composed and focused. Then I was a temporary worker. From being a temporary worker, I became a supervisor after finishing my degree. Then I was shipped out to Belvedere, which is near Rockford, Illinois. Belvedere Assembly Plant is where I was shipped out to. And so I was going out for the interview, and the plane was delayed, but it was only a 1 day. You just go down and interview and come right back. That was the arrangement. So it was delayed, and they threw us off. So I had a 9-minute interview at Chrysler in Belvedere. From 9-minute interview, because I had to get back on the plane, they hired me. So I shipped out there. The guy who showed me my job as a supervisor, I was a supervisor in a final department. Those who worked in the plant, that's where the car comes off looking like a car. That's where all the older people work because that's where all the overtime is.
Okay.
That's the money in easier jobs. Average seniority, 29 years. I think I was 23 years old. So they would they would whoop up on me because they had experience and I didn't know. So, and I never knew about cars. I've never changed oil. Never. I don't know how. I changed the tire once. That's what I've done. Because I had to not to be late.
Right.
Yeah, I backed out and hit a rock on the side of my mom's house, busted the tire, and I freaked out and panicked. And then I just changed it. Yeah. And I say that because that too is a verification that it was God in my destiny. So I came out and became a supervisor. Then I became a general foreman. General foreman runs the entire plant in Final. Because Final If that car has a speck of dirt on it or has dirt in the paint, it goes somewhere else to be reprocessed. That's called overtime. That's the holy grail in the plant. It's double time. It's time and a half. It's triple time. You reprocess, that's big money. So I ran that. That was God's favor. Because the guy who trained me, I became his boss. That was weird. You know, he would fight me. Still couldn't maneuver me. Still couldn't move me. So that is where I got to that point where...
Here we are. Another guy come in.
Chrysler, Belvedere Assembly Plant. Went and became the guy who trained me's boss. Then that financial advisor that I met in college called and said, we're looking for an advisor. I said, all right, what do you want to pay? Oh, no, this is sales. You know what they pay in sales. They pay what you kill. That's what you get paid in sales. I said, no. I run the plant. I make $140,000 a year. I run overtime. It's like, Andre, you have to make a decision. And I said, I'm a shy guy from Cooley. I mean, I don't have any sales experience.
23 years old?
23 years old. I was 26 at this point. 26 years old. What do you want me to do? He says, you gotta find it in yourself. And then my dad died. So I received a phone call. My dad had fallen out of a tree. Yeah, so it was abrupt. And I'm not close, so it's abstract. So all about it was sensory overload. Sometimes in life, you'll get smacked, and all of the noise in your life goes flat. That's a chance for a reboot. If you can see it. If you can't see it, then you miss your reboot. Dad's death meant that I don't have to bring the same fears that I might have over changing a job. So I said, in that moment, I said, I'll quit, I'm gonna go and become a financial advisor. Now, that too was God, because I had no sales experience at all, like nothing. I didn't have to sell. And plus, one downside of certain communities, sales are too scary. And in areas that you don't understand wealth, you'll run away from sales. The irony is, real money or wealth is commonly achieved through those who can sell. That's the irony. But my world was from the poverty environment. So those were the things that I learned. But anyways, through God, I jumped and I grabbed it and I said, I'll do it. And then I went back and said, no, I'm sorry, I don't know. And then a manager called who I respected and he said, Andre, you don't want to quit. Remember, I'm from Detroit. From Detroit, a plant job is good. A supervisor job is good. A general foreman who runs the plant, riding around on a little cart all day, you're Superman. So I had to go against my mom, which I never go against my mom. I went against everyone. And I said, all right, and I left that job. I would have been, oh gosh. And then I said, I'll go for it. And I jumped into sales. And then I had to learn about it, but I studied finance because it was fun. And so what I did is I repurposed what selling is. When you guys offer your services, you either offer it with passion or not. So I offer financial literacy is what I do as a financial advisor, because I know it can liberate you from a vicious cycle. That's my mission. So I don't think God gave me the gift just to become wealthy and comfortable. That would be an insult to the truth of why we're here. Our minds and egos might pretend that we're here for that, but he's purposed us for what we're here for. So I took what I saw. Poverty almost got me too. I took what I saw and I said, I will be a liberator. I will liberate these people. These people are not just African Americans. They're whoever comes in my space, because poverty hurts all. It does the same thing to all people too. It's pretty vicious. So my goal and focus every day is liberating individuals from poverty. That allows me to go and work harder than you. That allows me to connect with that client in a way that they sign. And Thanksgiving dinner is an invitation. And the family reunion, I get an invitation. They'll see, God, he's serving me. I am serving them. That translates very well when building integrity and trust. And that is the perk of understanding and being able to see your passion. Because God will reveal it. Now, this is the downside of one's passion. It invites you at times to be apathetic, lazy, or entitled. You get entitled. You have to purge. As believers, you have to purge the devil from insulting what God has entrusted you with. And that's not always easy. But I'll give you guys all a practical example. So if I look in a room right now, and I say, throw those donuts away. The donuts that you ate, take it back out of you. That's an example of what purging will feel like. The other opportunity, would it have taken you just as much time to buy apples and oranges? Could you have simply decided the day before to bring apples and oranges? Of course. Now everyone else has their own level of interest in eating that apple and orange, but that's an opportunity, but it hurts sometimes. So, and I use that little example because it's true. And so the gifts you are granted and you have, but that doesn't mean you're off the hook. You still have to be a good steward of that gift. And you have to monitor and check your ego, because the ego will get you weirded out. Because the devil, for those of us who are believers, will come and say, well, I'm going to invite you to believe you are the gift. I'm going to invite you to believe that what I've allowed you to happen, you should be casual about it. You should be casual because it's going to happen anyways. As a matter of fact, you can be a little reckless with it. You can get cute with it. You can forget what it is, which is a gift to do whose work? His work. Yeah. So that becomes the weirdness of my walk, and that normally occurs. But so you have to purge. What does purge look like? Go down into those little churches in the community and whoever else lets you come. Share the testimony. Break some of those chains of poverty off. Stay connected with your passion and mission. Liberate those people. Now, you still need to make a living. So he gives us that ability as well to be smart about it. For example, I heard in a room, what did I just hear? Oh, the sales talks. Like you guys do the sales talks at 9 something. So, yeah, you can still be smart enough to go and refine your craft, as opposed to egotistical and say, I'm good enough. I'm good enough. And I also heard real estate investing. So you can be wise enough to say, I'm not efficient in how I've approached soliciting people who have properties. I'm not efficient because I may not know technology. I may not know how to absorb all the calls. I may not be able to find all these great houses for these investors. And then you may have also seen an opportunity when Jason, right? And Jason said, hey man, I might be, what'd you say, Jason?
Picking up a house.
Picking up a house. You say, damn, I never even thought that opportunity was like in my face. Jason may need something from me. Jason might be an avenue for other people. How many people do you think Jason knows? Now, all right, so we're moving here. So those are small opportunities. The apple and orange today, because that energy will sustain you. The opportunity that you may be able to branch off what you've done for investors. Now that you see they are as practical as Jason, that you didn't know was in the market. And also remember so when you're selling to the investor or whomever you're selling that concept to, remember the practical benefit of rental income. So commonly, who in here has a pension? No hand to be raised. Right, so the new reality, who in here parents had a pension? Most parents had pensions. They were the last ones who had them. We won't have them. Well, how do you get a pension?
Create your own.
Create your own. What if you lived in California? How would you create one there? It would be kind of hard. Those little homes cost $1 million. But if you lived in New York, that's hard there too. What about Texas? That might be tough. How about Detroit?
Easy.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a nice opportunity. So when your pitch, when you invite the investor or regular people to consider, I mean, do you want, in order to, for Andre as a financial advisor to give you a consistent $500 for the rest of your life, you have to give me, I don't know, you have to give me some money, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 that I invest some kind of way. But what can you buy with $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in real estate? And good Lord, if you know how to swing a hammer, oh boy. And if you know how to find some windows and you know how to do that work yourself, you drive that cost down. In essence, you are creating your pension right now. And I'll give you one more. The appreciation value of the home, that you can buy an ugly home, so you're exaggerating your rate of return. You bought it ugly. You guys do this for a living. You make ugly pretty, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so you buy it ugly, water all in it. That stuff scares regular people. Water in, a window broken. Oh no, not a broken window. So you buy that, and then that becomes a pension provider for you now and later. And you may have spent a whole $25,000. When you're ready to sell it later, it's worth $50,000. Yeah. So that's how you choose to be creative, not by selling financial services, but you choose to be creative by doing what's in your space, already something you know about. Now this is where your boldness has to come. You said, well, I'm at Walmart. Walmart gives you a sense of comfort. It's not your truth. Therefore, do the math on what you need. Be wise and refine the system that you've experimented with. And say, how many more homes do I need to sell to make my Walmart income? Gosh, I think one a month. You said 2 or so grand. I think one a month, and I have more offers in a day. And if it really does well, I think I could turn this into the next level. Maybe I can find private money. Maybe I know people who just want a fixed rate of return, like 7 or 10% on their money. I can show my credibility and put that house together, and I give them what they want, 7 to 10% a year, and I get what I want, an ability to buy the house for myself. So you can take what you do, because you do a one-touch. I found a house, thank you, give me my money, have a good day. Mm-hmm. You could do a permanent touch if you choose to be more creative and involved. This is how my mind works. The guitar, I'll never see it. I just saw Jason blowing the smoke, so I said, what's the smoke thing? But I'll have no other interest. I'll fight the donuts until I leave. And I'll make it out of here, but be fascinated by anything you guys say as it relates to making that money. And it's really a matter of efficiently doing it. I normally find inefficiencies in people. Yeah. So I'm only fascinated by that sanitizer for as long as I can see what the profit margins are and how to influence it. Yeah. So that's really how it works, and that's a practical way that you guys can see where my eye and ear will go, because you may not have known that I was listening to you. So the truth is, this is how it really I experience life. You should quit tomorrow. Yeah. I'm sorry. Hey, it's what it is. So, because I'm not playing today, I'm 44. I'm through playing. I've played enough. You should quit tomorrow, but only if you have enough substance to yourself to be smart enough to be made better. And if you don't have that in yourself, you stay at Walmart.
Wow.
You have opportunity because you can grab fellowship. Jason might be the one who can refine you to wake you up. So alone you would isolate and be vulnerable and stay lost. Through fellowship, which is all this is, you have a chance to be made better by someone who's not you. So your instinct and smartness may not be able to carry you, but because you have been obedient and allowed others to invest in you, you have a chance to be made better by someone who is just in a room. All they know you as, that's my man.
Man, you touching the heart right now, man.
Well, that's the truth. So now you're experiencing how the gift flows. Normally you should get chills and your heart should be touched. And this is what happens, whether randomly at 8 o'clock this morning, from a random meeting with Jerry, or in a seminar. That's verification that it is God.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what it is. So when I see your truth so clearly, the old me would shrink and stay modest and say, Andre, you don't know his story. You can't share with him that he should leave his job. No, you should. Only because you said, I used to or I played with finding investors' homes. I'm like, oh, I know we can replace Walmart's pay. And I can give him a quality of life, but he has to be willing to be refined, willing to be. So obedience or knowledge. Either you get it, or you're smart enough to be dumb and just do it. Either one, you choose. And then you'll have a chance at liberation.
Wow.
Or you'll stay in this vicious compromising cycle. And that's your truth. And so to see it, I can't. Normally I shrink to it, but I have to be honest. And and from there, and also I believe in I call it the Robin Hood concept, not taking from. But I believe you can make money and really do people right. You don't have to compromise, because I see that commonly. I'm actually considering doing an investment with doctor's office thing that we're still just underwriting. We're still just trying to see if it can work conceptually. But anyway, so the doctor, unfortunately, he went to jail. I think they were making like $3.4 million. And he was doing some things illegally through Medicare or something like that, doing some stuff. Well, he could have simply made the 1.6 by just being a doctor. He could have found me and said, Andre, I make 1.6. Can you work me out so that I can make more? Because my sensory is only going to allow me to be a doctor. So there's no appeal to become a me, like there's no appeal for me to become a him. I love to be a musician, but I ain't him. I am this. So in order for me to grow, I will need to be willing to allow someone else to refine me. That's going to be a faith-driven proposition. The more obedience you offer, the more fruit you will have. If you don't offer through obedience, you'll just stay on that vicious cycle. And that was one of the critical reasons why fellowship is so big. Because it's not what you understand, it's what the guy in the corner who looks like he might not be paying attention understands. For your own gain. So, and that is how it looks. So in that doctor scenario, the poor guy, and you guys get into this is relevant for you all too. You get into your box of doing what you do, just your box thing, and that limiting box is frustrating. And then the flesh has learned to function in this box. And that box will kill you. And sometimes it's unhealthy. And it never lets you reach your potential. It actually stifles it. So the key is going to be wise enough to reach out for help, or faithful enough to reach out for help so that you can get out of the vicious cycle. That's key. The doctor could have too, but his ego would have had to relax. And that's the complications of wealth and humility. I think he was making, I don't know, $3 million or something. So all this money he's making, so who is he going to listen to tell him what he can do better? It's hard for him to listen. Should he listen? Yeah. But instead, he got desperate. That's the insult. Imagine if you could have had a 1.4 and just been normal guy. Or you wanted this almost $3 million in illegal because you don't understand business. And that's what he chose. So the key is really being humble enough to allow yourself to be made better. Once again, the gift. You got to purge it. I can't just say, oh, I'm gifted, so I'll come here and flick this off and flick this off. And I don't feel like telling that gentleman he needs to leave Walmart. No, I don't know him and his family. Fear. Fear comes and tries to seduce me. You know, Andre, I think boldness is what I gave you. Well, I want to shrink. You know, Andre, I think boldness. Leave your job at Walmart. Sometimes you do have to go there. I mean, it's just your truth. And the presence of God is, you didn't have to say about the real estate. Jason didn't have to express that he's already interested. When he said that, your mind should have said, damn, I didn't know Jason would even be in that space. So God says, this young man will be delivered. You didn't have to share. Jason did not have to share. You could have said, no, I ain't going to say Walmart. You could have done anything. Your humility allowed God to work.
Wow.
Yeah. That's our truth. Yeah. And that's it. So that's my story, guys. And that's why Jerry invited me. But yep, that's it. That's how he works. So he'll pop a chain off quick. Now, will you want to pick that chain up? Of course you will. When you tell your children don't try drugs, you don't want them to get the taste. Don't do this crazy activity, son. You don't want them to taste it. When the flesh tastes that weird walk, it's hard to get it back out. So ideally, you like them to stay on a certain direction, which is why to an extent, you need to manage a child. We need to manage ourselves. So getting you off of the dope of the perceived comfort of Walmart will be your walk. That's your work. And as a believer, you can, if your faith is strong, you can say, God, carry that, and I'm walking in your faith. God, I don't think Walmart is where you want me to be. Unless God has told you to go to Walmart to do what you're doing. Yeah, get yourself ready to do the work, to get off of, and to be vulnerable. You see, the question becomes, depending on your level of faith, vulnerability or faith, because they both look the same.
Wow.
Yeah, the question is, do you perceive it? One is of the world, one isn't. It's not inviting you to be perfect, but you have to know some of these critical junctures. And then it'll allow your deliverance to occur. And with a healthy fellowship, you'll just be made better. And then you can apply it actually to any part of your life. So the person who really is poor is the person who cannot press a button and reach what the promise of God is. If you are void of any sense of what this God stuff is, I feel for you, because life will kick you, and you won't know how to get up. You won't have a chance to get up, because you have abandoned the most valuable thing that there is. When you don't have it, you don't have it. If you do have it, you can always get back up. That's the real riches. That's the real value of God. You know, He's there for us in all lights. But if you don't even know Him, it's complicated. You know? And that's how He comes into how we do business also. We don't have to abandon His principles. We'll be tempted to, just like that doctor. Remember, he could have made $1.4 million. Imagine me. Okay. I'll come into you guys' space. So, all right. So when I see a new roof being put on, I'm in awe. I don't know what that really is. I don't know. I heard some cheating, and I just like it to look pretty. So I'm vulnerable. So that is my level of understanding. So if I wanted to learn more about putting on roofs, then I would have to come and tap into your knowledge, right? That's a must. So that means that I'll have to check my ego and really engage that person pounding on that, up on the roof. And those guys who might, they might smoke a little, they talk stuff, the element of that person. So I have to say, well, I got to go talk to the guy? Yeah, you got to go talk to the guy. But that is what I would need to do for my enlightenment. Am I wise and humble enough to do so? I should be. Doesn't it help that I'm a real estate investor, that I at least understand something about that? Everyone has the opportunity to be made better. Humility is the biggest muscle that I know of. Humble enough to say, I'm at Walmart. Without saying that God can do the rest. You could have said, yeah, I picked up another job. You could have picked up another job at Chrysler. I couldn't have just said, you quit Chrysler. It's a difference. I could, because I quit Chrysler. And then that reflects everyone's faith and everyone's reality at home. You say, I have 20 children. When you choose to function in faith, you have to be careful because you can't be a punk. Yeah. Because fear will be all entrenched inside of you, and you don't even know it. You woke up today with fear.
Wow.
If you've not purged it, it's coming. So it's the race you run with one leg. How far can you go? But without an awareness, you won't even know it's on you. And that's, again, when my father died abruptly from falling out of a tree, being electrocuted, it cleaned the slate. So you have to know how to recycle and be blessed by your slate being clean. A lot of us posture to our image. But if you say you lose someone like a parent, you normally are falling apart. You're a little boy again. Once you are humbled that far down, all of your posture and who you think you are, it went away. So you're in your truth. Yeah, the lies are falling behind. You're in your truth. When you're in your truth, you have a chance to be born again, made anew. That's your chance. That's how this stuff works. If you're in a healthy group where fellowship is good, this is good, because you guys can talk about God and business, and you can try to be better and be made better. Enlightenment is good, but don't be fooled. That doctor was smart. Being too smart is dumb. Yeah. So that's it. That's my story, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions? Anything?
I have a question.
Sure.
Given you and I have the same kind of similar background,
Mm-hmm.
I came from, poverty, area.
Yeah.
I'm 33, have a wife and a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
How do you break? Cause I can see I'm still stuck in this poverty, the way I spend money when I don't have it. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And so how do you break it when your whole family is still caught up in it? Because I just started my real estate business, and when you have your family, well, you need to get a job, you have a family, you need to, where it's not conducive to the growth of I want to say like an entrepreneur, but I still see myself kind of stuck in this poverty way of thinking. So how do you break that? Like, how do you...
You break it by one step at a time, and you will be the leader doing it. So you practice reclaiming yourself. For example, a practice reclaiming yourself might be as modest as, I'm not eating the donut. Because it hurts the flesh. Change hurts, right? Is change easy? No, it hurts. And so it hurts. So, and you do practical wins, and then you make a decision that your faith will carry you, like from today. You may want to reduce today to random occurrence. Jason just said what he said. I just said what I said. That guy just showed up. And it just was random. Some people call this deliverance or a breakthrough. Yeah. So you want to reduce the chills you may have experienced to, that was good talk. Hey, I'm sleepy. Let me go to sleep. And you may forget it. Then you would lose your blessing. So this is the truth. So God did his part. And now it's on you. You break it by becoming aware first. After you become aware, you take each chain off. You act more in faith, but it's almost like, I don't know, who walked on the water? Who was that?
Peter.
Peter. All right, so Peter in the water. And it's common for us to want to get weak and or compromise. You have to surround yourself into a healthy fellowship that allows your enlightenment to be received. Yeah.
If you ask me, though, when it comes to that, you got to remember then when the wind and the waves build, who to call for. Because that's got to be the foundation, I think, of what you're talking about. If you Peter getting out of the boat, he got out of the boat, he felt good, everything was fine, and then he looked around and he said, whoa, wait a minute, I'm out of the boat.
I'm out of the boat.
Then when you get out of the boat, you got to reach. And Jesus will pick you right back up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's your truth, and you trust in that, because actually that is the only thing that broke you out of it. I wasn't random today. Yeah. The God you serve saw fit for you to be delivered, and for everyone else in the room to feel the experience and be a part of it. He's the puppeteer. Jason didn't say it. Jason was moved to. You didn't just say it. You were. Everyone is functioning. Jerry, hey, Jerry, you coming in? Yeah, I'm coming in, Jerry. I'm coming in. Coming in, Jerry. Coming in.
Thanks for coming, too.
And my obedience, because I got so much stuff going on right now. Oh, I was going to blow this off. I was going to blow this off. I have real stuff going on. I was going to blow this off. I was. And that's where, that beginning of the story where you have to stay humble to what he's entrusted you with. Had I blown this off, a 33-year-old and whoever else in the room is being edified would not have been fed by what he gave to me. I already knew he just didn't give it to me to feed millionaires, but he also gave it to me to make a 33-year-old gentleman who's going through things in life support him and deliver him. That's how he works, as long as we work. But then, and the next thing is too, is just to, like Jason was saying, being fortified in the truth, which is your spirituality, because the world will look at you in an awkward way. Your community and your family might look at you in an awkward way. You will act different. You will abandon certain norms. Therefore, you will be abnormal. Being abnormal means I must throw a stone at you due to my discomfort. You're striving to be better. I'm filled with poverty. Hit them in the head. Just hit them in the head. Through my pain, I will give you pain. That's what perversion looks like. And when you try to leave perversion, it sometimes says, I'll grab your leg. And it's your job then to fight harder, or as Jason stated, rest more in your faith. And then actions. And your actions were rewarded today because, did you just wake up this morning? You wake up this morning? You woke up this morning? You woke up? Did you just wake up? Did you just wake up? Or you come from a job?
Well, I just came from a job.
Well, why are you here? Aren't you tired?
Most definitely.
Can't you be less than? Can't you shrink? You got all this beautiful, you got a family, you can be at home. Mhm. But instead, through your obedience, you're being rewarded. Yeah. And that's what you're experiencing right now.